What's going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Fourth and Goal Sports Show. I'm your host, Tyrus Filson. I'm back with another live. Got my man Kevin on here. New guest, Kev, on the live stream tonight. Julian, back again. Zaire, back again. And tonight's discussion, we got a good one. We're going to be talking about the NFL awards this Thursday. We're going to know who our league MVP is. We're going to know who our league offensive player of the year is, defensive player of the year, offensive rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year, all that stuff coming out this Thursday. And before this Thursday comes, I thought it would be a great time for us to share our opinions on the Fourth and Goal Sports Show and see what our picks and predictions are for these awards. I got my own thoughts for these awards. I'm very excited to see who wins them, but I already know who I want for these awards, and it's gonna be exciting. But how y'all feeling tonight, man?
Feeling good, bro. How about you?
Feeling good, dog. Feeling good, man. This Thursday. I'm ready. I'm ready for my guy.
I'm feeling fine but tired. I'm also ready for my guy too on Thursday. But yeah.
I like that confidence, dog. I like that, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I don't think I'd be so confident after what I saw in the playoffs, but hey,
yeah,
good
I'm
for
not
you, bro.
confident either. You know, there's a certain we're not gonna say his name, but he wears the number 9. I hope he's off the team. That's all.
Oh,
Oh
That's all.
yeah.
That's all. That's probably why he wasn't making kicks, but it's okay. Well, that's not okay, but yeah.
we're not gonna get into that.
That's all I have to say.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, I'm happy for, of course, my guy and my organization because I think we're taking home multiple awards this year, as we should. Loki should take all of them, the important awards. But yeah, I'm happy for the organization because I have the organization winning a couple of awards. So yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, besides of obviously offensive rookie of the year, like what other awards?
Coach of the year and executive of the year.
Okay. No, fair, absolutely.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know just how well this season was for the Commanders, like with all the circumstances. I mean, we hear about it, but I don't think the details is always presented well enough. But yeah, that man Dan Quinn, yeah, give him his credit too. Whether he wins it or not, I think he's done a great job, and he deserves to be in consideration for sure. Yeah, but I hope he does win it. I hope Dan Quinn does win it. But we'll see about these predictions though. But I want to start off with the you know what? Why not start it off with the award that everybody cares about when it comes to Thursday? The MVP. The MVP. Who's the MVP of this season? And that's been the discussion. And it's tight. It's tight. It's really tight this year. It's been tight in recent memory. This is probably the tightest MVP race in a long, long time. And you got two great quarterbacks at the top of the MVP race, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Then you got the superstar beast of a running back who is Saquon Barkley. And this MVP race is amazing. It's hard. It's hard to choose one, but with my prediction I'm going to give to start it off, my MVP is Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson. I feel like he's the MVP for a number of reasons. Because this award, you can maybe say because unfortunately this award is a regular season award. The award goes to Lamar Jackson. He plays the most difficult position on the field, the most important position on the field, the most valuable position on the field, and he's the best quarterback at that position this season. He was Lamar Jackson. And when it comes to comparing him and Josh, like I know what happened in the playoffs, very unfortunate for Lamar. He didn't do well. He crumbled under pressure. And I'm a Lamar fan, but that's just what it was. But at the end of the day, like I said, the regular season award, and in the regular season, Lamar had pretty much better stats than Josh Allen at literally almost every category. And not just that, when Lamar and Josh Allen met head to head, Lamar won and it wasn't close. So yeah, I'm gonna give the MVP to the best player at the most important position, the best quarterback this season, the MVP, Lamar Jackson.
I agree. I definitely agree. I see a lot of people thinking it should go to Saquon, and with all due respect, Saquon's having a great year. Can't take that away from him. But after the season Chris McCaffrey had last year, and for him not to win MVP, I don't see a running back winning MVP for a long time to come. Long story short, because the league is filled with too many great quarterbacks, and the state of the MVP award right now, it's a quarterback's award. That's simply what it is. So yeah, I think it will be between Lamar or Josh Allen. And like you said, Lamar beat out Josh in almost every major category, and just the play that he's had during the regular season, 41 passing touchdowns to 4 interceptions. That's unheard of. So yeah, I think Lamar's gonna get the MVP as well.
I'm gonna have to agree with both of you. I'm not biased or anything. It may be the thing behind me, but I think it's going to be Lamar winning the MVP. As you all said, his regular season, and emphasis on regular season, not the postseason, unfortunately, but his regular season was very good, very good. He had the 41 touchdowns and then the less than 5 interceptions, which is also good. And then he leading in passing yards and also, I believe, in rushing too. And then he also broke Michael Vick's record too. So I definitely could say the regular season was definitely a historic one for him.
Who do I think is going to get it? Lamar. I think everybody's in agreement to Lamar is his award, but kind of wanted to shed a little light on a couple players. One of them is probably going to be very controversial, but I don't care. I can defend my takes. I definitely think, even though Lamar's probably going to get it, he had the best statistical season of his career. This is his best season of his career. So yeah, he's gonna get it. But to kind of harp on what Josh Allen has done with that roster that he's had, Jesus Christ, the roster that he's had, and taking them to the conference championship games cannot be understated. He's done more with necessarily less. But it's Lamar award. Even though it is a quarterback award, if you look at who's more valuable and who's the most valuable player to their team, there's 2 players that comes up, goddammit. One of them is Saquon Barkley. I don't think the Eagles are in this position.
All right, bro. All right, here we go.
They're not. I'm sorry. They're not this lethal super monster team that they are. Without
but
Saquon
they were,
Barkley.
though. But they were.
They were not. What did they do last year?
Last year, they lost first round without their number one best player on offense. And they also...
Who was out?
Their locker room collapsed at the end of the season. Who's their number one player on offense last season? It was A.J. Brown.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not questioning Saquon's value. I actually midseason I had him in my midseason MVP race, which was actually a lot different. I had in that midseason MVP race, I think I had like 5 players in it, right? In that race, I had Lamar at 1. I had him at MVP then. I have him at MVP now. I had Josh Allen at 2. At 3, I had like Derrick Henry at that point in the season. 4, I had Saquon. And at 5, I had Jared Goff. As honorable mention, I had Jaden and Joe Burrow as honorable mentions. But I like Saquon.
Joe Burrow glaze too.
You said what?
I said we're gonna get to my Joe Burrow glaze too.
Man, you love some Joe Burrow, man. All right. But I
just think like value to his team, he's that offense that keeps them he's that battery that keeps the offense going. Like he's the offense. I get it. They got a great offensive line, but this team is in the Super Bowl. They were not in the Super Bowl last year. I just think, like, as far as value, I don't think that if you take them off this team, that this team is going back to the Super Bowl. I don't believe it. I think they lose to the Rams. And my Commanders
Kev, was you about
are
to
in
say
the
something?
Super Bowl without Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
But
Go ahead, finish.
I got one more player to glaze before eventually I get to Joe Burrow. Very controversial take. Nobody likes it. I don't care, but I'm gonna throw my guy out there. As I said for the last couple weeks, there's a certain rookie that should get at least a vote. I don't care if it's one vote. I think when I look at the definition of most valuable, I can't not say Jaden ain't in that discussion. He shouldn't win. Unbiasedly, he shouldn't win. But throw my man's a vote. That's all I want. I just want one vote. That's all I want. Just one vote. But yeah, Lamar is his award. Great for him.
I respect that absolutely, but the Saquon comment, like I understand. Yeah, the award is called most valuable player, so I understand. Like the award should go to whoever is most valuable to their team. But I think the Eagles could still make it here even without Saquon, and that goes back to 2 years ago when they made it to the Super Bowl and only lost by 3 points. Last year was one of those like I'll be honest, when the 49ers went into Lincoln and beat on them, that really killed their season. And they had one loss to like 10, 11 wins at that point. It's games like that happen that's just all right. And add on injuries, things happen. Saquon definitely elevated the team, but I don't think it would be like I don't think it would be completely different because this season the NFC was overall weak. Injuries was happening, and like the Eagles, they've been around for a minute now, so they have a lot of chemistry. And I saw them getting to Super Bowl regardless. When I saw my Niners wasn't making it, I had a feeling it was going to be them because it was just nobody to stop them. And I don't think that's all because of Saquon, but he definitely plays a big part. But like I said last year, CMC last year was the Niners offense, and you could see it when he was on the field. It was completely different. And like I said, when CMC wasn't getting that many votes for MVP, I knew we won't see another running back doing getting any for a long time to come. I think Adrian Peterson, he was like he might be the last one
This is the last one.
yeah, for a while, unless we see somebody really, it's gonna be hard because like I said, it's a lot of great quarterbacks around the league. You got Mahomes, Lamar,
think
Josh Allen,
to
Herbert.
not cut you off, but I think the award is just a QB award.
No,
and
absolutely.
That's why I push for Saquon, even though I am a Commanders fan. I'm a hater, but I people always say it's a 2-man race. To me, it's not a 2-man race; it's a 3-man race. I really think he should give a lot more consideration. I get it; the roster was great, but to me, there's no team that can definitively, confidently say that they can beat the Eagles. Even though I ain't picking them to win it, but I think Saquon was the one piece they needed to make the scale kind of unbeatable. They've lost games, but to me, this team is just different, and I don't think
it is.
Without Saquon, this team is not as scary as it is because you're gonna make one player. You're gonna make this one player that I keep talking about. And week after week, have to make some plays. So I'm not saying the rest of the Eagles team is not great. I've said it. They're the best roster, 1 through 53. I hope my Commanders look at what they do and we do a little similar. But he's that one player that just gave them an advantage that I don't see them going to the Super Bowl if they did not have Saquon this. I'm sorry. They may make it to the conference championship game. I really don't see that either. I think they lose to the Rams.
Okay.
And my Commanders are in the Super Bowl.
I don't want to.
I can't stand you, Giants organization. You traded him, you left him go to Philly inside the division. Now I got to deal with it twice a year again.
They did.
Oh, man.
I was gonna say I don't want to let this conversation drag on too much about Saquon, but my final point on that was just like, I hear you, because Saquon is like the player on the Eagles. He's the player amongst the players. Like, they have a super team, and he's that guy. He's the guy on the roster for sure. My thing is with Saquon, he is extremely valuable, but he's on a team where, quite frankly, I don't think people always talk about what Saquon's doing for the Eagles and not enough about what the Eagles have done for Saquon Barkley. Because quite frankly, if the Giants had traded Saquon to a trash team and got like a bunch of picks, we wouldn't be seeing this season out of Saquon. Can we be clear about that? We wouldn't be seeing an all-time great season out of Saquon if he was on a team like, I don't know, the Raiders. If you put a player like Josh Jacobs, like, look at the elite running backs out of this recent free agency class. Put a player like Josh Jacobs or Derrick Henry on the Eagles. Please tell me that they wouldn't be in the Super Bowl. Please tell me that. Please. They would be in the same position with any of these free agent running backs from the last class. And Saquon is better. I'll take him over Derrick Henry. I'll take him over Josh Jacobs. But put those two in the same position he's in, and the Eagles are in the Super Bowl all the same. All the same. All due respect to Saquon, but that's just how I feel.
Yeah.
But next, we got the MVP down. We all are agreed. Lamar's the MVP. I know my man Kalani wasn't able to join tonight. He might roll in later. We'll see, but he wasn't able to join. But I know he has something to say about that because he's a big Bills fan. He loves him some Josh Allen, But we'll see about that on Thursday. We'll see. But aside from MVP, the next one that's kind of controversial, I mean, we're going to see who wins this. Defensive Player of the Year. I feel like it's not getting enough attention this year.
No, it's not, yeah.
Maybe it's because TJ Watt's not in it, so people won't complain on the internet that he got snubbed. He's not even in the category this year. I mean, he's an option, but I doubt he gets it. That's basically what I'm saying. He's an option, but I doubt he gets it. Not a top option is what I'm saying. Even talking to a Steelers fan earlier in the week, my guy, he was saying, yeah, I don't think TJ's gonna get it. I think Pat Surtain deserves it. That's who his pick is. But how do you guys feel about Defensive Player of the Year?
I definitely feel like that's the hardest to predict so far because, like, overall, like, usually other years, like, it's like you said, TJ Watt in the past, Myles Garrett in the past, like, you have these players who just have like outstanding standout seasons. I feel like this season there was no like one player that was like eye opening every single week. It's just a lot of great defensive players all around for sure. But yeah, to predict one, I can't even tell you right now.
I mean, so your options include for AP Defensive Player of the Year. Your options include Philadelphia Eagles linebacker Zach Bond. That man's a monster. Bond. I know about Zach Bond because I done seen him 3 times this season, and that brother is a beast. Cleveland Browns defensive end, soon to be commander. Myles Garrett, we know what he does, man. And what's crazy about Myles Garrett is this season was really like at one point it was considered a down year for him. I mean, he had a foot injury that was lingering. And the fact that he's in this race just shows just how great he is. There's certain players where it's like, oh, it's a down year for them. It's a down year. And like their down years are somebody else's career year. So that shows you just how great Myles Garrett is. Cincinnati Bengals defensive end, Trey Hendrickson, underrated. I would love that guy in Washington too. Underrated.
Yeah. Plus that trade. We coming for you. If we can't get Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, Trey Henderson, you know what to do. I connect you with my peoples.
Beware of a defensive end with no gloves. Beware of a defensive end with no gloves. You know that man said he's there for business. Then you got defensive back, Denver Broncos defensive back, cornerback, Patrick Surtain, dog, arguably the best DB in the NFL, superstar. And then lastly, you got TJ Watt, Pittsburgh Steelers superstar. I just don't see TJ Watt winning it. So out of those guys, which one do you think has the edge? How y'all feeling about that group right there?
I'm not gonna lie and act like I have paid the most attention to this award because I haven't. I haven't. Who do I think is going to win? It'll probably go to Surtain, but I think what Trey Hendrickson is doing in Cincinnati, with him being practically the only probably piece on that defensive line and probably the only piece to build with on that defense. I think he had like 15, 16 sacks, something like that. I forgot. He damn near led.
I think he led the league in sacks, didn't he?
He led the league in sacks then. Okay. I think it's hard for me to want to give the award to a defensive back, particularly one that may not put up the numbers, but you know what he does. But for me, I always like to try to give it to a pass rusher. But I feel like Surtain is going to get it. But I wouldn't be mad if Hendrickson messes around and gets it because I think he absolutely deserves it because he has nobody on that defense and led the team in sacks.
I mean, Sam Hubbard is underrated, bro.
Yeah, Sam Hubbard is. I like Sam Hubbard. He's a solid rusher to go with Trey Hendrickson. But like besides them two, it's really just them two. If I had to make a prediction, I would assume that I'm gonna say Patrick Surtain as well, only because like I said, the numbers may not all be there, but like from a corner position, like a lot of that comes from a corner being so shut down dominant to where they aren't getting targeted that much, but when they do get targeted, that's when the numbers show. He still gets picks, he still gets deflections, and like this race is too like it's not tight enough for an edge rusher to get it. Besides, I would say Trey Hendrickson. I would say he'll be like my backup prediction because, like I say, he led the league in sacks. He's clearly the best defensive player. So, but Patrick Surtain, like he's in my opinion definitely the best corner in the league. And like I said, I didn't pay that much attention to the award this year either. I'm gonna be honest, but I've definitely seen a lot of him, and I respect his game a lot. I like his game, so yeah.
I assume since we're probably all in agreement, I haven't really paid attention to the Defensive Player of the Year award either. I just assumed it was going to be between TJ Watt and Myles Garrett, like it's always been. But I could say I definitely agree with all of you. I definitely think it will probably be Patrick Surtain the second, or is he the third? I think it's the second. But
Yes.
I'm probably going to. Okay, yes, they called him PS2. That's why. I think it's probably most likely will be him. Because, like you all said, the numbers may not have been there, but when it was time for him to defend and cover, he was definitely excellent at that position.
So the last time that a defensive back won Defensive Player of the Year was 2019 Stephon Gilmore. So if Pat Surtain does win it, that's a big deal for sure. Yeah, but my pick for the award, I mean, I see y'all rocking with Pat Surtain. I respect it, but maybe there's a little bit bias for me. I don't know. I just feel like it's tough. I would say Zach Bond is in there. He's in there. Maybe it's too early though, because this is really his first year of production like that on that star level. But I don't know. I'm gonna give it back to Myles Garrett. Because quite frankly, aside from like JOK, Denzel Ward, like he was the main guy carrying like that defense. I mean, including those guys, he's the main guy carrying that Browns defense. And despite the fact that they were trash this year, like Myles Garrett is the anchor of the Browns defense. Like he is a generational player. He's a superstar. You can make the case that like there's cases, okay, you want to give your top 10 cornerbacks in the league, you can make the case that Pat Surtain in some people's list, he might not be top 3. He might not be top 2. He might not be 1. But in everybody's edge rusher list, undisputed, Myles Garrett is at the top of the list. He's either 1 or 2. Undisputed. No room for debate in that discussion. And maybe it's biased because I used to be a pass rusher, and I love the game of football. I just love seeing pass rushers. Like, they are literally the most athletic players in the game of football. You're talking about a guy who's 270, 265, 280, running super fast, getting past somebody who's like 6'5", 6'6", 300 pounds, maneuvering around him, like balance, getting to the quarterback, getting sacks, and they do this like it's easy. Like, it's easy, man. I love the edge rusher position. So I would love to see it either go to Myles Garrett or Trey Hendrickson, but I think Myles Garrett gets another one. That's my pick.
I think the only thing that would stop Henderson and Garrett is just looking at where the defense ranked. I feel like that is something that will probably hinder them from winning it. I just think it probably will go to a Surtain or a Bond. I don't think the two pass rushers can get it because they'd be like, oh, well, defensively, they rank this, instead of actually looking at the player as a whole and looking at the impact he has on the defense.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I'm still rolling with Myles, but there are some games where he might have got shut down. I know that one game against Washington, we slipped away. Without him causing havoc. But if not this year, then possibly next year. That man Zach Bond is different, man. He's different. Zach Bond is different. But next one, we're gonna move on.
Hopefully, can pay him.
You think Philly is he a free agent?
No, I'm not saying now, but I hope they can pay him when Jalen Hurts wants that extension when he wins that Super Bowl for him. Okay.
Oh, nah. Didn't they already give him I know he's gonna want another one eventually, but like, didn't they already give him one?
I can't wait till that day happens. They send them all that money.
They gotta stop. The NFL gotta stop giving bags to everybody because, like,
we gonna get one. The media is gonna be a big part.
I'm not mad at Bond getting his payday. Zach Bond. I'm not mad at him getting his payday. I'm talking about the quarterbacks. Like, shoot, they're throwing bags at everybody.
No. That's my point. I think the media will help with Hurts getting this deal whenever he gets it, whether it's 2 or 3 years from now. The media and his perception of him, definitely if he wins the Super Bowl. If he wins the Super Bowl, he will mess around. He may mess around and be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL at the time of his signing. But yeah, I 100% agree.
Dang, bro.
Again? Yeah, he's going to reset the market. He will be and then Jaden's going to take that jump and put it into the stratosphere. We're going to pay that man. We're going to pay that man.
Now, on the football level, I'm like, they got to stop paying all these guys who are just like solid or not generational so much. But on the outside of football level, good for Jalen Hurts. Love to see the brother get paid. So good for him. Get your bag, man. But yeah, we're gonna see how that goes. Because there's a guy. Hey, now here's a guy in Patrick Mahomes. Hey, we're gonna see how that goes. Winning the Super Bowl. But
gonna put his foot up their ass too.
Offensive Player of the Year. Moving on to that, how y'all feeling, man? I feel like before y'all go, I feel like this is an award where it's like we don't even need to talk too much about it. We know who this is.
Yeah,
we know who this
absolutely.
Is.
It's going to be Saquon.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about that one.
That's for sure Saquon's award, and that's fine.
Yeah, I saw a post by I think it was CBS Sports or I can't remember. It was a post basically saying like, should Jamar Chase win Offensive Player of the Year?
No.
And I reposted on 4th and Goal. I was like, asking this question alone is disrespectful to Saquon Barkley. Asking that question alone is like very disrespectful. Saquon Barkley is the Offensive Player of the Year, and he really is. I mean, maybe if it wasn't such a QB award, he'd be MVP possibly. But yeah, he's going to win Offensive Player of the Year because unfortunately the quarterback position is running the MVP race every time. But yeah, that's That's easy. Give it to Saquon. I mean, the player he's been this season, he's been pretty much unstoppable. I mean, we're talking about this guy putting up video game numbers every game. 200, 200, 150, 160. Like it's nothing. Like it's nothing. And
Yeah.
he's just unstoppable this year, man. He's unstoppable.
It's definitely gonna go to Saquon, regardless of how many times I argue that he should probably win the MVP. But I don't think it's that disrespectful to put it in, put Jamar in this race. Even I don't think he wins it. I think he's 2. I just hope that they don't give it to whoever doesn't win the MVP. So, like, if Lamar wins, I hope they don't give it to just Josh Allen, and I hope they don't do vice versa. I hope they actually give it to Saquon. He deserves an award. He didn't get the record. Personal reasons why they did that was weird. He should have the record, even though I still would have put an asterisk next to it. But yeah, I think he should have got the record. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't, the Saquon award, give it to him. I wouldn't be mad if Jamar got a couple votes. I think he was a Triple Crown winner this year. So can't knock that.
I think he leading in what, catches, receiving yards, and touchdowns for receiving.
Absolutely.
Hey man, who knows? Terry McLaurin might be up there soon. No, I'm not gonna do that. But Jamar Chase is just a one-of-one receiver. Respect to him. Generational. We're gonna see how much the Bengals pay him, because I know they still have to pay him.
Mess around and don't play Jamar if you want to. He'd be sitting there in Washington.
Oh, okay. Okay. I like AP. I like our front office. Let's not do that, because we can win. I feel like we can win without a guy like named Jamar Chase, and because it's just so expensive to pay that guy. It's just too much. It's just too much, bro. It's too much. The Bengals are the only team that's gonna pay him. I mean, there's other teams that will step up. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying the Bengals are gonna pay him. He's not gonna leave. If they're gonna let T Higgins, test the waters, and they're gonna pay Jamar Chase like he's the whole wide receiver room. They're gonna pay him the value of what, 5 wide receivers? That's probably what they're gonna pay him. Now, why would Washington do that, dog? we filling out the roster, man. We just made the NFC Championship without Jamar Chase, so we get Jamar, we pay him. That means it's a Super Bowl or bust. That's the way I feel. It's just too much, man. He just costs too much. But
at one time,
he would be in the Offensive Player of the Year race if Saquon wasn't doing what he's doing. It's just Saquon is just different this year. But next up, I'm gonna do offensive rookie. Oh, you have some, Desire? You have some?
Oh, nothing. I'll just agree. I guess I can piggyback off what you were saying about Jamar Chase. Definitely a good player. I've seen, especially in I think it was the last Bengals and Ravens game, when Joe Burrow just launched it on the field and Jamar caught it for a touchdown. Or he didn't catch it for a touchdown. He ran all the way for a touchdown. So I can definitely see a very generational player. I wish he was not in the AFC North, but it's all good.
That's right.
We're gonna see, man. We're gonna see. But I think the Bengals gonna pay him. But
they better pay him.
They might have to choose. They might have to choose, because T. Higgins might walk.
Yeah. I hope the Bengals aren't that stupid. I mean,
they are a stupid organization.
You're right. They do have some stupid tendencies, but when you have Jamar Chase, I hope you won't be that stupid.
They're not. If he leaves, he's gonna leave like later in his career, but he's definitely gonna be there for. He's gonna sign an extension soon. But I think T. Higgins, he's definitely leaving though. Like, they can't afford both, and that's fine. But Jamar's not going anywhere.
I think if they really wanted to, they can possibly afford both. And then my whole point in saying this is they can mess around if they want to, but one of them players they ain't gonna want to sign gonna be in Washington, keep playing.
You're right, but like, they probably could find some way to pay them both, but that would require for some of the players to put their pride aside and maybe take a little bit less than what they're looking for.
Yeah.
Like T. Higgins is pressing to be a wide receiver one somewhere, and or get paid like one. You said where?
Nah, I'm definitely like, I think he goes to the Chargers. I really think Justin Herbert gets that wide receiver one besides Matt McConkey, who's a great receiver, but he's still a rookie. I
Right.
think I could definitely. I've been saying that for a while though because I'm a Herbert fan and I don't like the discourse recently. But you look at the playoff history, it's inevitable. But time's going to change soon. Don't worry.
You calling me out, bro? Because I don't know if you've been seeing what I've been saying about Herbert,
Nah,
but that
nah, I
you
know.
couldn't
Nah, I
like that.
know. Nah, I know.
Yeah, but
They
you're
got
right though.
They
They need to get.
since he
I was
has
gonna say they just need to get Herbert a wide receiver one for sure. They do.
since he has $46 million in cap space. So think if this is right, I don't know if this is 100% right, but it is from they'll figure it out. Trade some people, shit. Mess around if y'all want to. As I will continue to say, mess around if you want to. One of them gonna be in Washington.
They need to cut some people, trade some people, and like they need to make the space to keep Higgins and Jamar, and then like the guys that they really need to cut or trade. They don't need to feel too bad about it because like when your defense was as bad as they were this year, it's a lot of guys who are replaceable, and I feel like they need to build in the draft, stack up on picks. That's what they need to do. But yeah, Herbert. Don't want to talk too much about Herbert, but I think he does need some more help as far as the wide receiver room. That Johnson dude out of TCU, wasn't he out of TCU?
TCU? Yeah.
Yeah. Stop drafting receivers out of TCU. Just stop. Just stop. That guy, he's a bust. He drops everything, and for such a big dude, isn't he like 6'5", 220?
Yeah.
I mean, for
Big
such
frame.
a big dude, he's just so fragile, and like he's not getting those contested catches when you throw it up, lob passes. You're supposed to come down with it, bro. You're 6'5", but you just can't. They need to cut him. They need to cut him or trade him. I don't think anybody's going to trade for him though. But yeah, it's time. It's time. And then you get a guy like T. Higgins in the Chargers room. I think Ladd McConkey's tough. He's a great rookie receiver, is really good, but you get T. Higgins in there, it elevates the Chargers in a big way. But
For sure.
yeah, offensive player of the year, I think we already know that's Saquon. But going next to the big one, the one that we should all agree on, the one that we should all undisputedly agree on. But if we don't, that's okay. AP Offensive Rookie of the Year. You know who I'm rolling with. I got my man 5. I got JD 5. Jaden Daniels all day. I respect Brock Bowers. I respect Malik Neighbors, Bo Nix. I respect BTJ, Brian Thomas Jr., Jaden Daniels' teammate in college. I respect all those guys. You said future commander?
Yeah, everybody future commander at this point. Shoot.
Love it. Love it.
Love it. You messing with me.
He's a dog, and his potential is very high. He should have been a Pro Bowler this year, but they gave it to Zay Flowers, unfortunately. But yeah, man, Brock Bowers. I hear a lot of people who are saying, first it was, well, let's give it to Bo Nix. He's the better quarterback. Then once that died, they said, well, look at Brock Bowers. Look at Brock, because I think Brock Bowers was all pro. He was all pro first team.
Yes.
He broke the rookie. He broke the rookie receiving record, something like that. He broke some record.
Yeah, that's amazing. That is awesome. But you know what? I think that when it comes to every single one of these awards, impact does matter. And let's be real. Brock Bowers had an amazing year, but he just didn't have the impact that Jaden Daniels did on his football team. The goal is to win at the end of the day.
I think he can't have that impact.
I'm about to say it's hard to have that impact on the Las Vegas Raiders.
Jaden touches the ball every play, and for what would you say the percentage? Say 50% of the plays, he has a decision he has to make. 50% of those plays, he has to make a decision. The other 50, he's just hanging that shit off. And even if you really want to really break it down, even with some of those run plays, some of those are like he has the option to pull it. So like of the plays that he has, probably like 60% of the plays he has to make a decision. So I don't think Brock Bowers can have that level of impact. There's only a few players in a few positions that can make an impact that big. That's quarterback, edge rusher, and it's corner.
But there's still
I wouldn't even say corner. I would say
the point that needs to be made that even in this discussion, like I said with MVP, most important position on the football field is what? The quarterback. So Jaden Daniels is the best rookie at the most important position in the game. So, I mean, you got to give it to Jaden, in my opinion.
If Jaden didn't have the year he had, would we still be saying that?
What do you mean?
Like
if Jaden didn't have the year he had, this would be Bo Nix's award. like what are we talking about?
I wouldn't have given it to Bo Nix.
This would be Bo Nix's award if it wasn't Jaden's. I mean, that's fine, but
if Jaden would have had a Caleb Williams year, or he didn't do what he did, the only other person I'm giving it to is Brock Bowers.
Right.
He's the only one, in my opinion, that deserves to be in that discussion.
Not in the discussion?
Not any other rookie.
Wow.
This man broke a record with horrible QB play. Arguably the worst QB. I'm not saying arguably. He had the worst QB play in the NFL. Broke those single season rookie receiving record at tight end with probably no other help on the other side. So I think he's the only one that should have ever been in this discussion. But yeah, it's Jaden Ward. It's been Jaden Ward since week 4. Give it to him. Yeah.
I feel like Bo Nix deserves to be in this conversation. Now, does he deserve to win it? No. But we can't act like Bo Nix was just a trash quarterback. He was a really good rookie. He really was.
I'm not saying trash. I just think those two are at a level where, to me, he's third. Like, I don't see how people can make him 2. I think there's them 2, then he's here. Like, it ain't nothing wrong with him. Like, I think he's a good quarterback. I think Sean Payton is a great head coach. It made him look a lot better than what he is. But, I mean, he got the system around him to get him to this point. So, I mean, but to me, the 2 is Brock Bowers, and the rest of y'all can go home because Jaden taking that job home. It's been at his house all season. So, yeah. Thought I could turn it up.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with all of you. It's obviously going to be Jaden Daniels. I'm thinking of every time Julian says, he said, what do you say? Walk him. How do you say it?
Walk him down?
Yeah, so, I mean, he did that multiple times this season. Multiple times you're thinking like, oh, my God, are they going to win? Or because, it's like a couple minutes left in the fourth quarter, and he does it every time, and he always scores. So, yeah, and he helped uplift the Washington Commanders offense, and that's all you guys needed mainly was a quarterback. So, I'm very happy for the Washington fans. So it will be Jaden Daniels.
He's the most clutch rookie quarterback. The most clutch rookie quarterback in the history of the NFL is Jaden Daniels. And just the impact that he's had this season, it's unprecedented for a rookie quarterback. I think that, he deserves this award. And in a fair world, Jaden Daniels would be in the MVP race if this was a fair race, but obviously because he's a rookie, there's a little bit of bias against him. But let's be real, Jaden should be not only in the Rookie of the Year conversation, he should be in the MVP race as well. But with him being a rookie, they don't want to do all that just yet. But we'll see how that goes next year. I think he'll have an MVP campaign soon enough. It's coming. Coming real soon.
I think year 3 he gets one.
Year 3, yeah, year 3. Would be cool. Hopefully, if there's no.
Oh shoot! Okay, I thought it was just me.
Okay, so
I was hoping it wasn't just me.
Yeah, year 3.
Yeah, I think a QB usually hits his stride year 3.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I think I can see a CJ Stroud possibly putting up a campaign for MVP, even though I don't think he will put up statistically enough to do it or have the respect enough to do it but I think he would start putting in the campaign. But I think most quarterbacks hit their stride year 3, year 4. That's when you start to see them take off their game, which is
I agree.
Definitely agrees.
Well, I think a lot factors into that as well is like coaching, players around them. Because I think like the Niners, for like as an example, like we've had the same core for since 2019. Basically, we get a few pieces every year, but overall, we're not making no real moves. So it gets to a point as well where you don't want to stay stagnant too long. Like at some point, you have to start making moves to help your quarterback out. Because if you don't, that quarterback just going to plateau like Purdy is doing right now, and then you look up, you think that they're a Super Bowl contender, but they're not. Same thing with the Texans. Like Stroud had a down year, yeah, but he still won a playoff game. So I think they make 1 or 2 more moves, and then they should really help their quarterback take off.
Say that again, bro. I'm back. I was lagging a little bit. Am I good?
Yeah, you good now.
Yes. Like you said, bro. CJ Stroud had a down year. People keep saying that he had a down year. He had a down year. He had a down year with like all of his weapons injured, and they still won a playoff game. So I would consider that like if that's his down year, CJ Stroud will probably be in the MVP race next year, and he'll probably do really well. His team's going to do really well next year when they're healthy. He has his weapons back. Man, folks, they be hating, man. CJ Stroud is going to run that division because it's a weak division. I'm not a Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, the Texans run that, man. They run that.
Oh yeah, that division, like, yeah, it's really the Texans to take. Like you said, I'm not a big believer in Trevor Lawrence either. Like that Jaguars team, they have a lot to do if they want to compete. The Colts, the Titans, like it should be it's the Texans to lose. Like I'll say, like to say the least, every year. And with the way that the playoff is set up to where every division winner gets a spot, like CJ Stroud, he's going to be in the playoffs for years to come. It's just a matter of what he does when he gets there.
Exactly. Right. But next up, want to do AP Defensive Rookie of the Year. I'm gonna be honest, man. I felt like it was disrespectful that my guy Mike Sanders still wasn't in this race. You said what, Julian?
I said 100%. My defensive rookie of the year.
It's just disrespectful. I mean, he has better. I know stats aren't everything, and on paper is not everything. You still got to watch the game, see how these guys play and develop. But like, Mike Sanders still has better stats than Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. He has better stats than both of them, and
plays on arguably a worse defense.
Exactly.
Not even arguably, a worse defense.
His responsibility is 10 times, 100 times greater than them. Like, Mike Sanders still is our DB1 at this point because Marshawn Lattimore, with his hamstring, he's been trash. He's been terrible. Let's call it what it is. I mean, if Marshawn Lattimore is watching, I can't sugarcoat it, dog. You've been struggling. And I am confident he'll be back healthy next year, and the trade will look a whole lot better that Adam Peters made. He's going to improve. He was probably banged up and needed some time to get used to the adjustment, but let's make no mistake about it. This whole season has been Mike Sanders still. That's been our DB1. And the responsibility he has for his team and the impact he's made as a rookie, I feel like he deserved to be a finalist. Did I think he deserved to win the award? That's the question. But he definitely deserved to be a finalist. I think before the season, I already made my predictions of who would win Offensive Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year. I already made my predictions before the season, and those same predictions I made before the season look pretty good right now. My Offensive Rookie of the Year prediction was guess who? 5, Jaden Daniels. My Defensive Rookie of the Year prediction was guess who? Jared Verse. Guess what? Jared Verse is my Defensive Rookie of the Year prediction. I think he deserves it. Like I said, I love pass rushers. And the impact he's had on that Rams defense that is very young, very, very young. He's made a great impact on that team. And he was one of the few reasons they kept it close with the Eagles besides the snow. But, yeah, give it to Verse, man. I think Verse deserves it. It's either Verse or Quinyon Mitchell to me.
Yeah, I think it's a little disrespectful. Mikey wasn't a finalist. He's my defensive player of the year. Defensive rookie of the year. He's playing out of position as well. He's not playing his actual position he plays on the football field. He's a slot corner. He's on the outside, actually being competitive. Again, he has better numbers. If I could have a vote, he would be my vote. But we already know it's probably Jared Verse. I don't think DeJean or Quinyon Mitchell will win it. I just think you give it to the pass rusher. Yeah. Those two have great defenses around them as well. So yeah, it's easier for them to do the job.
Yeah, I think Jared Verse wins it this year. Like you said, that Rams defense, they're really young, and I'm not gonna lie. They do kind of scare me, not gonna lie. Having to deal with that twice a year for the next few years is going to be a problem. And Jared Verse at the helm is, especially watching that Eagles game, he really was taking over that game himself as a rookie. And like, if this is him as a rookie, then this means this is him at his worst, essentially. Like, so it's only gonna be better. He's only gonna be better from here. But this has been a great rookie season from him. I think he gets the defensive rookie of the year honor.
I'm just going to be in agreement with everyone. Lots of great points here.
Yeah, Verse is just it's just a fun player to watch. I mean, I watched him in college, and I knew I was like, this guy's a stud. I would love for a play like that in Washington, but obviously, we needed a QB. We needed
Hey,
that QB.
Hey, AP, there's like a pass rusher in that draft. It's very nice. I'm not even talking about Abdul Carter. We ain't getting that one. Yeah, there's a few nice pass rushers. Please go get me a pass rusher. Please get me a pass rusher.
There should be a book that comes out. I'm just throwing this title out there because these ideas come to mind. Who knows? Maybe I'll write the book. There needs to be a book called The Art of Pass Rushing, because to me, as a fan, pass rushing is just so beautiful to watch. And nobody does pass rushing better when it comes to rookie pass rushers. Nobody does it better than Jared Verse. Give him Defensive Rookie of the Year. I really feel like he's just on another level, dominant player, and he's consistent. The two most consistent guys in this whole Defensive Rookie of the Year class consideration is Jared Verse and Quinyon Mitchell. Those are the two most consistent guys, and I think Jared Verse has the edge in that one. But this is where it gets a little controversial to me. Man, AP Comeback Player of the Year. How y'all feeling about that one? I know nobody keeps up with that, but to me it matters. To me it does matter. I think it's a worthy award. And I know there's a lot of politics in it, because it's like some people be like, well, where did you come back from? Did you come back from an injury, or did you just come back from being trash? So how do y'all feel about the Comeback Player of the Year award?
People pay attention to this award.
Hey, it matters, bro. I pay attention. I mean, it matters to me.
I'm not gonna say I pay like the most attention, because I don't, but I keep up with it for sure. And I know what you're talking about, Tyrus. Like, a lot of people think, well, I don't know, but I've been seeing people say like Hamlin doesn't deserve it because he didn't really come back from anything. Like, but I think he's our prediction to win it. I'm gonna say it like that. I wouldn't be mad if somebody like Sam Darnold won it, because he definitely, if you
He's
look
in
at
the
the
race.
term, like, say again.
No, I said so the people in the race is Joe Burrow, Sam Darnold, J.K. Dobbins, Christian Gonzalez, and
And
DeMar
DeMar,
Hamlin.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think my prediction would be DeMar, because what he's came back from, that's a big story, and all props to him. But I I would like to see Sam Darnold win it, because at the end of the day, it is like we are still playing football, and from the football aspect of things, DeMar Hamlin isn't that great. Simply put, like, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. He's not that great of a football player, and I'm not saying Sam Darnold is either. But Sam Darnold has done great things this year on the field, and Joe Burrow, I don't really understand why he's here. I think this year it was just a thin position or thin award.
Well,
So
he was injured last year, wasn't he? Yeah, he was injured.
I mean, he was like, but Joe Burrow, like it feels like almost every year he's like on and off the field. Like he didn't miss. I mean, he missed a good amount of time last year, yes, but Joe Burrow is still Joe Burrow. So at the end of the
Right.
day, he's gonna beat Joe Burrow. Everybody know who he is. He led the Bengals to the Super Bowl his first few years. They're gonna be back. I think they will be back soon. I don't think he wins it. I think the race is really between DeMar and Darnold. And honestly, like I said, I think DeMar will get it. But if it was up to me, like, I could see that being like a coin toss, really.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Shout out to DeMar Hamlin. I don't see him getting it. I mean, they give it to him, but like that's not my pick for it. Guess he deserves to be in the race. But the two players that I think deserve it the most, Sam Darnold, and one of my favorite quarterbacks. Goddamn, one of my favorites, Joey B. But if I had to give a nod, I probably would give it to Darnold. Just look what he came back from being essentially written off a bus. He's never gonna do anything, and now looking at him taking that Vikings team to a 14-win team, and being a fringe starter, probably a starter. No, I'm gonna say fringe. He could start on some teams and win some games for you.
I think that I'm gonna be honest. Not to cut you off. I think that Sam Darnold's in the race for comeback player of the year, but I'm gonna be honest. I think that says more about Kevin O'Connell than it does Sam Darnold. To me, it does. I think Kevin O'Connell has kind of proven that he can turn any type of quarterback into a serviceable starter at the very least. And, you know, the playoffs is just a whole nother beast. We saw what that was in the playoffs. But in the regular season, he did really good. Sam Darnold did really good. But I think my comeback player of the year, my pick, I'm gonna have to go with Christian Gonzalez, bro. I wish my Commanders had drafted him. Looking back in hindsight, we should have drafted that guy instead of Emmanuel Forbes, who we don't even need to talk about Emmanuel Forbes. We know what that is. Goodness gracious, man. Terrible draft pick. Just a terrible pick. We should have drafted Christian Gonzalez. I mean, this guy is already a top 5 DB, top 10 DB. He's elite, man. You can make the case he's a top 3 DB. And he came and he got injured his rookie year. I think he's tore his ACL. It was a gruesome injury. And he comes back the following year. Despite the team as a whole, this guy dominated. He had one side of the field locked down. Nobody was throwing his way. He's a shutdown corner. And I mean, you can make the case he's the best in the league at what he does already. And he's in year 2. And I remember we had those conversations with Sauce Gardner earlier in his career. I mean, it's still early in his career, but just like earlier, we're making the case, he's a rookie, and is he the best DB? He's in the second year. Is he the best DB? Now imagine your rookie year, you're doing well, and you tear your ACL, have to recover that whole time to recover. Then you come back the following year and you're better. You're better. You're not just where you were, you're ahead of where you were. He made the advancements. I say you give it to Christian Gonzalez, comeback player of the year. That's just how I feel.
For me personally, I think this is kind of a hard award to kind of determine, because there's a lot of people that maybe not came back from injuries, but also elevated, like Sam Darnold. I literally forgot that he was here because that's how bad he was. But then he was doing what he was supposed to do with the Vikings and helping them make their way to a playoff game, that ended badly. And then also the same, and then like also Joe Burrow. I mean, even though the Bengals didn't make it, he literally is carrying their offense too, and throwing it multiple times and having a whole bunch of yards too. So it's also good too. So for me, and now that you just told me about Christian Gonzalez, I'm gonna have to go with him. Because, I don't know, just to spice it up. But like I said, it's a lot of people that have come back to do something. So.
Absolutely. And DeMar Hamlin, I think he definitely deserves to be in the race. I mean, I know last year people were like hating on him a lot. You
But I
know,
think that was the time to give it to him, not this year.
yeah, last year was no. Here's the thing. Here's why he's still in the race to me. Last year, everybody says last year was the time to give it to him because of the focus was on him, but not understanding that those same people were saying he doesn't deserve it because he didn't even play. Right? He's playing this year, and he's a starter, and he did pretty well this season. He was pretty serviceable. I'd certainly take him over a guy like Benjamin St. Juice. So shoot, give it. I mean, this guy came back from a life-altering event that took place on the field, and he's still playing football and he's still serviceable. I mean, he's a starter in the NFL, so I mean that means a lot, and he's on an elite football team. So I wouldn't say give him the award, but I think he deserves to be in the race. I think so. And I think that like some of the hate he gets, like it's kind of weird. It's like a lot of hate for absolutely nothing. Like I mean, what has the guy done to warrant such hate? Just weird people on the internet that like you're hating on them for what? But moving on. Next up, the big one, another big one. I'm always saying the big one, but before we wrap it up, you know, we got AP Coach of the Year. This is where we get spicy, man, because there's just so many good coaches in this race. You got Dan Campbell, Detroit Lions head coach. Love Dan Campbell. Just a great coach. I mean, like I said, if the Commanders had a loss versus Detroit, I would have been rooting for the Lions to win the NFC. The Lions are just a very likable team, very likable coach. They had some very likable coordinators, you know, aside from Ben Johnson. But yeah, they Lions really cool, and I love Dan Campbell. He's a great coach. He definitely deserves to be in this race. You got Kevin O'Connell. You know what he does. You know what he do. Us Washington fans wanted him to be the head coach a few years back, but I think we got our guy now. But then you got Sean Payton, Denver Broncos head coach, and of course you got the Washington Commanders head coach Dan Quinn, as well as Andy Reid, Kansas City Chiefs head coach. So among those head coaches, who do you guys think deserves the head coach of the year?
I think Andy Reid is the best coach in the NFL. I always say that. I think what he does consistently for damn near 30 years and what he's done with making Mahomes who he is, I don't think that can be ever debated against. I think he's the best in the NFL. My pick for it is Dan Quinn. He took a 4-win team to 12 wins, and it went to the conference championship game. I think that shows a lot. I also think AP should be executive of the year, but Dan Quinn, what he's done for this team, the culture, the energy around Washington, have never seen it in my entire life. Most fans haven't seen it since '91. I think he absolutely deserves it. I'm not saying that because he's the coach of my team. I'm saying that because what he's done. Didn't DeMeco Ryans win Coach of the Year last year? If I'm not mistaken.
DeMeco Ryans.
Because if he won, that is my case in point as to why Dan Quinn should win Coach of the Year, because took a team that sucked. You did it 1 year. You do it
I think Kevin Stefanski won it last year. I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yes, he did. Because I said the same point last year that DeMeco Ryans should have won it, but yeah, Campbell should win it. Just 4 wins to 12 to the NFC Championship game with a rookie quarterback.
I will say there was like this weird. There was a weird statistic showing like the last 20 plus head coach of the year winners. And it was like, to me, it was pretty weird because it was like every year after they won coach of the year, they had like a really bad year. Like look at the Browns. You have the coach of the year last year, and then look at them this season. Quite frankly, I think the Browns need to evaluate Stefanski because that whole debacle with the Browns late in the season, and not starting Jameis Winston. I want to know whether or not that was that a front office call decision, because if that's a coaching decision, that's a bad decision. I know you want to get the draft pick and all that, but when it comes to draft picks, you let the front office make that decision. As a coach, you play to win. You coach to win. You gotta coach to win. And it's like you're gonna put those quarterbacks. You're gonna start those guys over Jameis Winston. He's a serviceable starter. Like, I thought that was crazy to me. I mean, especially in that Ravens game at the end of the season, you got those. You basically have a round table, like going back and forth between two quarterbacks when you really should have just started Jameis Winston, especially because of the fact that he beat the Ravens earlier in the season. It made no sense to me. It made no sense.
For me, I'm gonna also go with Dan Quinn. As we mentioned before, the changing of the culture of Washington to, I guess, to setting it back on par with what it was during the early 90s, and then also led them to an NFC championship and know how to do certain calls and going for it on fourth down and being mostly successful. So definitely agree it's going to be Dan Quinn most likely.
Yeah, I think that's like, I don't want to say unanimous, but I think Dan Quinn definitely deserves it the most out of all the other coaches, just because, like you said, he took a 4-win team to 12 and to the NFC Championship game in 1 year. And Dan Campbell, he had his time last year. Andy Reid, everybody know about Andy Reid and his resume. Sean Payton, I think, will be a good a good counter argument, because he was another guy who had a rookie quarterback and took him to the playoffs, especially from last year and the whole Russell Wilson situation. But nah, I think Dan Quinn, yeah, it's not much to be said. You see what the Commanders did. That turnaround was generational. So
Yeah, and this is the whole point of why I feel like when it comes to these awards, they got to start including a little bit of the playoffs or the whole playoffs. Like, regular season and playoffs should be included in some of these awards, considering when the award show is. It's basically when the season's already a wrap, I know there's still Super
yeah,
Bowl that needs to be played on Sunday and the award show is Thursday. But, like, I mean, it's just going to leave a bad taste in my mouth if we go to Thursday and Dan Campbell wins it. I'm like, I respect Dan Campbell, but it's like, okay, he wins it over the guy who pretty much absolutely embarrassed him in a playoff game when he had the number one seed. To me, it just makes no sense. Give it to Dan Campbell. Give it to Dan Campbell, and that's cool. But I feel like you give it to Dan Quinn. He's the guy. This year, you give it to Dan Quinn. He's earned it.
I think Dan Campbell, like, it was he should have, if he was to win it, I think last year was the year, because that was the year they really made the turnaround. This year they just built on the momentum they had, so it was like, all right. But the Commanders, I think Coach of the Year, it speaks for one specific year, and Dan Quinn had the overall better year, like, hands down. I mean, not better because the team didn't do as good, but from the leap last year to this year, it was way more drastic.
I mean, yeah, you could make the case that the Lions, they didn't make that big leap, but I think just the Commanders' leap was just nobody expected that, man. Like,
Yeah.
to come out and do what we did, you just got to give respect to Dan Quinn for setting that culture, and those coaches that set the culture, they're going to be routinely in these conversations. The coaches that set the culture, always. But there is really not much competition to me, in my opinion, outside of Dan Campbell and Dan Quinn. I think outside of that, I'm not hearing it. Those are the two guys. It's literally those are the two guys to me. But one of the last races, which really confused me, which really didn't make much sense to me. We're talking about the AP Assistant Coach of the Year. How in the world is Cliff Kingsbury not on here, but Joe Brady, Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator, is. To me, that's hilarious. That's absolutely hilarious to me.
Yeah,
You got
that.
You said what, bro?
Now I would say I don't understand that either. Oh, that's weird.
I'm seeing these names here. You got Joe Brady, Buffalo Bills OC, Vic Fangio, Philadelphia Eagles DC, Brian Flores, Minnesota Vikings DC, Aaron Glenn, Lions DC, Ben Johnson, Detroit OC. Everybody on this list I think deserves to be there except for Joe Brady. Like let's be real, bro. Let's be real. Take Joe Brady off of that staff, the Bills probably would have been in the same position. Like let's be honest. Let's be honest. Josh Allen did, like whoever hires Joe Brady next, I promise you the Bills won't miss him at all. It's no disrespect, but Josh Allen is just fine without him. But Jaden Daniels actually needed some help from Cliff Kingsbury. Not to say he couldn't do it on his own, and maybe at some point in his career, maybe possibly soon, hopefully not. But within the coming years, he's going to have to learn how to do it without Cliff. But in that rookie year, Cliff was a vital part of the development of the offense from last year to this year. We took a major leap, and for him to not be on here is disrespectful to me. But I know I'm on a long stretch. But for this award, Assistant Coach of the Year, and it's tough. I think I'll say why not give it to Vic Fangio? I say give it to Vic Fangio. Respect to my black coaches out there, respect to them, but I gotta go Vic Fangio. I think he deserves it because the Eagles really got the number one defense in the NFL. Like last year, they had the stacked defense on paper, but they had a lot of mistakes, a lot of things they had to clean up. I mean, you want to talk about mistakes, just how bad it was? I mean, you had Sam Howell carving them up twice a year. The Eagles defense was really not like that last year. They took a big leap this year because of Vic Fangio. They hired the right guy for the job, and they got menaces, dog. They got menaces across the board on that defense, man. So I say give it to Vic Fangio, Assistant Coach of the Year.
I feel like they're just gonna give it to Ben Johnson. They had the number one damn near offense in sports, football. They're probably just gonna give it to him. I don't really have much to say about it. Cliff should be in the running. Cliff should be a heavy favorite. They didn't choose him. Oh well. He may not get one, but yeah, Cliff should definitely be there. Yeah. I mean, ain't much to say about this award.
Yeah. I mean, if they give it to Ben Johnson, I can respect that, but nah, I think that. I mean, I wish we had seen the Eagles versus Lions this year. I wish we had seen that. But yeah, Vic Fangio, just a great DC. Got to give respect.
Yeah, I understand both points. I think this is one of those that it's either one or the other between Vic Fangio and Ben Johnson. My prediction, I would predict Ben Johnson because like you said, the Lions offense was generational. Like what they did was you can't take away how great they were this year. And Ben Johnson definitely had a lot to do with that. And um I don't have too much to say because I don't know a whole lot about either, but I know how good the Lions offense was as well as the Eagles defense. But the Lions offense, that they was just different.
Yeah, Lions offense was elite, man. It was elite. How you feel, Zaire, though? How you feel?
Yeah, I'm gonna be in agreement with basically the two front runners is probably gonna be Ben Johnson and Vic Fangio. So we already know the Eagles defense is basically almost unstoppable. We're not gonna say that, but they're definitely the number one in the league. And then the same thing with the Lions offense. So it's kind of hard to talk about the other different coordinators when they both were doing excellent at offense and defense. So now we get in the conversation who has like the little bit of the edge over the other. So it's kind of hard for me, but I guess I'm gonna go with Vic Fangio, most likely.
Respect. I can respect that, man. So it's really Ben Johnson or Vic Fangio, basically. We're gonna see who gets that award. It's gonna be interesting, but that's all for the conversation, man. Today, talking about the awards coming up this Thursday, the NFL honors. Gonna be interesting to see how these awards shake out. I'm really hoping that we get like a surprise. I'm gonna post my predictions for the awards, and I'll probably post some of these clips from this live on the IG page. But it's gonna be interesting to see like who wins these awards. I think we'll get some surprises. Like there'll be some talks on socials to see like who's getting it, and we'll see how that goes, how it shakes out. But this is the Fourth and Goal Sports Show. I'm your host, Tyrus Filson. Great live. We'll be back next live, more than likely. If I don't do a live before that one, the next live more than likely will be the Super Bowl live, man. Super Bowl live. It's that time, man. It's that time, dog. Chiefs and Eagles. We're gonna see how that prediction goes. We're gonna do that live pretty soon. This week we'll do that live. But that's all for now today. How y'all feeling? Any last words?
As I always come to say, HTCC, bring my team back to DC, please. Bring them back to RFK so we can get the stadium rocking and everything. And go Chiefs.
All I gotta say is next year the Niners will be back. That's all I gotta say.
I agree.
For me, I hope the Ravens lock in this offseason. That's all. And I don't care who wins the Super Bowl. I do not care. I will refuse to watch. That's it.
Of course you don't, man.
Didn't make it far enough to care.
Yeah. But that's all for now, man. Until next time, thank y'all for watching. Peace.